Well, the time has finally come. Time to talk about all the new movies that are scheduled to come out in 2021, meaning we should be able to see them as soon as 2130. This is also the first video of mine to be edited in Adobe Premiere, as opposed to the free Windows Movie Maker software. This is the year where I finally graduate to actual video editing software. Okay, so obviously this is kind of a tricky time for me to be doing this because there is a pretty good chance that many of these movies won't come out this year. Also, a lot of movies on this list are leftovers from my 2020 list. But since at least some of these movies should come out this year, especially with the Warner Brothers sending all their new movies to HBO Max, here we go. Also, I don't know about every movie that is expected to come out, blah blah blah, honorable mentions. Antlers, a creepy looking horror movie from producer Guillermo del Toro, Mission Impossible 7, Bob's Burgers, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, Free Guy, Raya and the Last Dragon. Cautiously optimistic about The Matrix 4 and Coming to America. On to the list. At number 10, we have No Time to Die, originally set for release last year, but was one of the many movies to get pushed back due to the pandemic. I have nothing new to say about it that I didn't say in last year's video when it was number 9, so screw it. I'm just going to be lazy and replay what I said then. I might also do that a few more times, but I promise not for the number 1 on either my most or least anticipated list. The new James Bond film, and the last one with Daniel Craig as the titular hero. It will also feature Academy Award winner Rami Malek as the villain. It's always nice to see another James Bond film. Hopefully, this will be a great spy thriller, action film, and a worthy send off to Daniel Craig. And now at number 9 is a movie that was always set for this year, so sadly, now I have to record this entire segment. Anyway, it's the unnamed Spider Man 3 movie. Since Sony has regained the rights to the character, this will probably be the last time he'll be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now it's officially just going to be a trilogy, just like some of the best franchises. It will be from John Watts, the director of the first two Tom Holland Spider Man movies, and I'm eager to see how they will wrap up the character and how he will exit this universe. At number 8, we've got Don't Breathe 2, sequel to the amazing 2016 horror movie. That was an extremely tense movie for me, and I'm hoping the sequel can at least come close to that experience. I'm not completely sure what a sequel to that movie would look like. The plot description on IMDB is pretty vague. Since the events of the first one happened because the protagonist broke into the killer's house, I'm not sure whether or not they'll think of something other than he's just a magnet for crime. But either way, this will probably use the same scare message as the first one. The unique tension of hoping the blind man doesn't hear you. Number 7 is A Quiet Place Part 2, another movie about a blind but extremely dangerous villain. That was just a coincidence. Another movie that was supposed to be released in 2020 but wasn't. Told that probably around the week before it was supposed to come out. I have new things to say about it, so I'm not going to replay last year's footage this time. I'm a little nervous since it looks like it might have more talking in it, and what made the original great was its use of silence. But if it continues to keep that concept of silence at its core, or at least have a few good scenes of them trying to keep quiet while in danger, this could be a worthy sequel. I'm also very interested in the fact that they appear to be telling the story of how the invasion began. In addition to the fact that watching the world fall apart in movies is always interesting, this could also answer many questions about the first one, including some things that some people may have considered plot holes. Either way, it will at least be an interesting journey. Up next is number 6, which goes to The French Dispatch, the newest film from Wes Anderson. I had also put it on last year as an honorable mention, and now I guess I'm ready to actually put it on the list. Starring a lot of famous people, this movie is supposed to tell 3 stories, all connected by the fact that they are all published in the same newspaper. Call me hipster all you want, but Anderson has a unique style and makes some very interesting movies, so I guess I'm excited. At number 5, we've got The King's Man, another movie from 2020. And since it was also at one point early on scheduled to come out in 2019, it has been on all of my most anticipated videos I've made thus far. Yeah, it didn't come out that year. But it's definitely coming out this year, unless something happens. But if it happens at this point when multiple trailers have been out for some time, then we should all probably be worried about it. Yeah, I think I might be willing to forgive it for this now. Anyway, it's a prequel to the Kingsman movies, which I really liked. I even really liked the sequel, which doesn't really get a lot of love. The style of action would be interesting in the historical setting, and really, if it's anything like the first two, it should be a lot of fun regardless of what setting it's in. And on to number 4, which is Denis Villeneuve's Dune. In last year's video, I said that I have no familiarity with the source material. That is still true to this day. The main draw is, well, what I've heard about the book, but also mainly Villeneuve's involvement, the director of Arrival and Blade Runner 2049. And so I'm expecting this to be at least intriguing. Also, the fact that it's coming to HBO Max in addition to theaters means that I will actually get to see it even if all the theaters are still closed. But hopefully everything will be back to normal and I'll be able to see it the way it was meant to be seen. At number 3 is Godzilla vs. Kong, another movie that's coming to HBO Max and one that probably demands to be seen in a theater even more than Dune, at least from what I've seen of Dune. Anyway, once again, I don't have anything else to say about it that I didn't say in last year's video, and everything I said there still holds true, so... The supposed culmination of the MonsterVerse, and with the box office numbers for the most recent Godzilla movie, they might actually be staying true to that model. While I was a little disappointed in that movie, I did still enjoy it for what it was. After all, many Godzilla movies aren't exactly high art. This is probably a lot higher than I should reasonably put it, especially since director Adam Wingard, though he's made some decent films, has shown less promise when adapting a certain other piece of Japanese media. But I'm still excited for it. I am a fan of monster movies, and I am excited to see the two greatest giant monsters duke it out this year. At number 2, we've got The Suicide Squad, starting over from 2016's Suicide Squad, except it has the word "the" in it, so that makes it completely different. Obviously, sort of like the opposite of Justin Timberlake in The Social Network. Okay, so the first one wasn't great, but as I've said earlier, this is more of a do-over than a sequel. They've recast a lot of people and gave directing duties to James Gunn, who also did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which are among my favorites in the MCU. I'm interested to see what he'll do with this property. He has also said that he has had the most fun working on this project than anything else he's worked on, so that passion could easily translate to a quality blockbuster. And finally, my number 1 pick. And it is... Last Night in Soho. Now, you may be asking, Jay, what the hell is that, you hipster douchebag? Well, fictional viewer, it's a thriller starring rising star Anya Taylor-Joy, fresh off the success of The Queen's Gambit. Anyway, she goes back in time to the 60s and meets her hero. But things are not what they seem in this world. The description makes it sound like some sort of cosmic horror version of Midnight in Paris. But what puts it at the top of this list is the director, Edgar Wright, director of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, Baby Driver, the list goes on. Last year, this was number 3 on my list behind Tenet and Godzilla vs. Kong. Obviously, Tenet wasn't going to be number 1 again, but yes, I did decide to put it in front of Godzilla vs. Kong this time. Because, well, in the end, I'm probably going to end up enjoying it more than that one. A potentially interesting concept with a director who made some great stylish movies. Unless something goes horribly wrong, this will probably be a real treat. Anyway, this is my top 10 movies to potentially be released in 2021. I'll also be coming out with my top 10 least anticipated of 2021 tomorrow. If you're not watching this the day I post it, in which case it's probably out now. In which case, go watch it. Or don't. Your decision. Bye.